First, we bring the materials from the closet in Mrs. Austin's room to the table in the laboratory. Then, Claire will carefully measure out each piece of BankSafe, remembering to include another eighth of an inch that the chopped salt eats up. The final product should look something like this. The measurement for the top piece will be 4 by 6. The bottom piece will also be 4 by 6. The left side piece will be 4 by 6. The right side piece will be 4 by 6. The front piece will be a 6 by 6. The back piece will be a 6 by 6. Both dividers will be 4 by 6. The latch piece for the completed door will be 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch, and the dowel rod will be 1 inch long, keeping in mind that there will be an added 1/8 of an inch. Next, bring all measured material over to the chop saw. This is where Jeremy will carefully cut each piece of material, starting with the top piece, then the bottom piece, the back piece and the front piece, both side pieces, and the dividers in the middle. Also, reminding to cut the dowel rod and the other piece for the latch. After each cut, Kyle will inspect the measurements on the material to make sure that they are correct, and then place them on the table. Afterwards, Claire will bring the front piece, the top piece, and the right side piece to the laser engraver. This is where the 3 slots on the top piece will be engraved, the side piece on the right side piece will be engraved, and the STEM Academy logo will be engraved on the front. After each engraving, Kyle will inspect to make sure all measurements are correct and that the wood is not disfigured. Then, Claire will bring these 3 pieces back to the table. The top piece slots should look like this, and the right side piece slot should look like this. Then, Claire will measure out the hole for the latch in the front door. It should have a 1 inch diameter. Then, James will bring it to the drill press and drill through the marked place to make the hole for the latch. Afterwards, Kyle needs to inspect it to make sure that all dimensions are still correct and that the hole is in the right place. Afterwards, the front door piece should be returned to the table. Then, all materials are to be brought over to the hand sander to be sanded by Jeremy. After each piece is sanded, Kyle will inspect to make sure that the dimensions are still correct and that the wood will not give splinters. Afterwards, all material is to be returned to the table. Afterwards, Jeremy will bring both the dowel rod piece and the small latch piece over to the nail gun in order to put them together. After they've been nailed together, Kyle will inspect to make sure that they are placed together correctly and that the nail is not protruding and will hurt people. Afterwards, the part will be put back on the table. Then, Stephanie will begin to glue the bank shell together by gluing the left side piece that is 6 inches long to the back side piece that is 6 inches long, and then taking the right side piece with the 6 inch long side and gluing it to the other side of the back side piece that is 6 inches long. Afterwards, she will glue the top piece that is 6 inches long to the back piece that is 6 inches long, and both 4-inch sides to the left and right pieces. Then, the bottom will be glued on to the last 6-inch piece of the back piece and the other 4-inch pieces of the left and right pieces. Then we must wait for the bank shell to dry before continuing on, and Kyle will inspect it to make sure that all pieces are put together correctly. Then, Stephanie will glue divider 1 in and divider 2 in, 2 inches away from the left and right sides. Then, after that dries, Kyle will again inspect it to make sure the dividers have been placed in correctly. Then all materials are to be transported to the paint booth so that I can paint them, first starting with the outside portion. After it is dried, Kyle will make an inspection and make sure that it is dried correctly before moving on to the inside. After spray painting the inside and waiting for it to dry, Kyle will make another inspection to make sure that it is dried correctly once more. Then I will paint the bottom and wait for that to dry. Afterwards, Kyle will make another inspection to make sure it is dried correctly. Then, BankSafe will be transported back to the table where Claire will measure out 0.5 inches away from the right side of the left side piece, and then 3 inches down on the front piece in order to correctly place the door hinge. She will then screw the hinge into place onto the left side piece using a power drill and nails, and Kyle will inspect it to make sure that it's in the right place. Then, Jeremy will place the latch into the hole in the front door piece, and he will then put the stoppers on the inside of the latch to keep it from falling out. Afterwards, Claire will screw the front door into the hinge using a power drill and nails.